Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschasya Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitaha Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadvara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasindhubhyascha, Patitana Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So on the order of Tapo Divyam Prabhu, thank you. I've been ordered to speak about the glories of Srimati Radharani. A mild challenge, I must admit, for an insignificant disciple of Srila Prabhupada as I, especially in this august gathering here in the Malmi Temple of ISKCON here in Helsinki. So, by the blessing of Krishna, I may say something according to proper mood and conclusion. Is there a Bhagavad Gita? I'm sure there is. Because I have one. I would like to start by reading a verse from the 9th canto. And many of you may know this verse. It's quite often quoted by Srila Prabhupada. So if you know the Sanskrit, please say it together with me. First, let us offer our humble obeisances. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So please repeat after me if possible. Mahatmanas tumam partha. Mahatmanas tumam partha. Again. Mahatmanas tumam partha. Mahatmanas tumam partha. Daivim prakritim ashritaha. Daivim prakritim ashritaha. Daivim prakritim ashritaha. Daivim prakritim ashritaha. Janti ananya manaso. Janti ananya manaso. Gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Anatmanas tumam partha. Anatmanas tumam partha. Devim prakritim ashritaha. Devim prakritim ashritaha. Janti ananya manaso. Janti ananya manaso. Gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Gyatva bhutadim avyayam. So this first word is Mahatmana, and that means a great soul, literally. And it entails someone who is not bewildered by the influence of the external material Maya, illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. The next word, to man, unto Krishna, Partha. That's a name for the recipient of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, who is the son of Pritha. And because his mother's name is Pritha, he becomes Partha. So this is Krishna addressing his friend Arjuna with this vital information here. Next word is Daivim, which means the spiritual, the higher dimension, beyond the material illusion. This is particularly aiming for Radharani, we could say, on this occasion here. The internal potency, the unlimited happiness and expression of love of Krishna. That's Daivi. Daivi, Prakriti means nature. So nature is twofold. There is the external marginal, or the external material nature, and there's the internal spiritual nature. And then there's us. We're on the margin. We're in between the two, either one or the other. More about that. The next word is ashrita. It's an important word. It means to be influenced, to be drawn along, to surrender to be included in. Just like we had this wonderful kirtan here, and we were all swept together, wasn't it? I think we're from all different kinds of backgrounds and different ages. We're of different languages and genders and everything, so different. But still, when this sweeping sound of the Hare Krishna mantra began, then we were all, I could feel, at least in my heart, a connection. Am I the only one here who has that experience here? Well, that means a confirmation there. We're connected, by this wonderful sound vibration. And this is a manifestation of Radharani. So this is Ashrita. So let us try to enter into this mood now. And the next word is Bhajanti. That could mean exactly to the like we did the chanting there together. But in general, it means to serve the Lord, to recognize the Lord, that He is the Master, and that we are meant to please the Master in our essential capacity as subordinate servants. That sounds scary sometimes in the material world because we've had bad experiences of exploitation from bad masters or incompetent masters, maybe not particularly bad, but just not really expert at representing the Supreme Master. But we can rely here on our good experience and good fortune to have a good master here. Fortunately, somehow or other, we have come under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, who founded this ISKCON movement, and he brought to us the pure potency of Radharani in the form of the chanting of the holy name, and his instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we're very, very fortunate we have a good master. So there's no reason that we should be hesitant to accept this role of subordination in this context. That doesn't preclude we have to keep our eyes open, because this is, and after all, the material world, and things can go off the Dharma here. So still, we, in essence, can be sure that however we contact the superior nature, it'll be beneficial for us if we are sincerely surrendering to the good influence of Srimati Radharani and his representative, in this case, Srila Prabhupada. Maybe there are certainly different spiritual masters here giving guidance in this collection of souls here, but in this regard, we are safe to say that we are led by Srila Prabhupada, who actually was the first to introduce the Hare Krishna mantra in the West. So that is our good fortune. The next word is Ananya Manaso. This is particularly applicable to Srimati Radharani, like you could say. Ananya means nothing else, and Manaso means to fix one's mind. So this is the chaste position of a disciple to the spiritual master, or to, in the higher dimension, the devotees of Krishna in Vraj, the internal potencies, very, very confidential enclave of the love of Krishna as a supreme beautiful and the supreme enjoyer, like that. This is exclusivism, you could say, but it's not denigrating. It's actually minded. It actually helps us to see and respect and understand and appreciate variety. That's the paradoxical mystery of Ananya Manasa, to be exclusively connected to Krishna. And at the same time, Krishna promises, I protect what you have and I preserve. I give what you lack and I preserve what you have. What's the same to it? Nice, thank you, Yavandas. Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Yeah, it means that Krishna will provide us with whatever we're lacking, and at the same time will preserve what we have. And what we do have is the human form of life. And in this human form of life, we have this tremendous opportunity to reinstate ourselves in our lost or damaged or forgotten relationship with the Supreme Lord. So that Krishna will certainly help us to maintain that opportunity if we turn to him. And he will also give us what we lack, and that is the good intelligence to understand how to execute that mission to return back home, back to Godhead to him. Next word is Gyatva Bhutadim Avyayam, which means that, this is, Avyayam means inexhaustible. This is the quality of the spiritual nature. It never ends. In a very, sharp contrast to the material nature. Here, everything will come to an end. We are born, we grow, we produce some byproducts, we stay for some time, and then we dwindle and we vanish. So that is the nature of the material world. It just won't last. So to put our faith in this temporary appearance, it's a bad investment. What we are looking for is the Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, the ever-increasing ocean of transcendental bliss, which it's impossible for us to imagine. It's inconceivable that there is a happiness which is ever-increasing. We just don't have that experience in this material world. It's quite the opposite. But the only thing that will actually satisfy us in our essential spiritual heart is that ever-increasing happiness which comes from contact with the internal energy. So in the purport here, summarized, Srila Prabhupada, he quotes the 13th verse in the 7th chapter about Daivi Yeshagunamai Mama Maya Durajaya. So here we have this dichotomy again. We have the internal energy, the Daivim Prakritim, the internal spiritual, transcendental spiritual nature, in contrast to the external Maya. The Radharani expands factually in this cosmic manifestation in the form of Goddess Durga, who is the superintendent of the Krishna's external energy. And there, that's the marginal energy, we who are on the border between this internal and the external energy, we have that possibility of coming under the influence of either's energy. So our it's up to us. Each of us has a choice. Nobody can make that choice for you. I remember when in 1970, I was hearing George Harrison's song, and he said, everyone has choice, and only you arrive at your own made end, with no one but yourself to be offended. Like this, it was a very beautiful song he wrote. Was very much influenced by Srila Prabhupada, and he published in his album called All Things Must Pass. Anyway, before I even knew much, hardly anything about Krishna movement and Srila Prabhupada, I was very much benefited to come indirectly in contact with Srila Prabhupada through that music of George Harrison. So yeah, that's the responsibility that we have as individual parts and parcels of Krishna. We have freedom. We have an individuality. We are given choice. Krishna will not love a robot. We're just, like artificial intelligence, just, blabbers, composite of information, which is, that's not what Krishna is attracted by. The Krishna rather is attracted by persons. And that entails that there is choice, that there is freedom, and there is responsibility. And that's what Prabhupada argued for, actually. That was something that was very difficult for him to get across. when he came to the West to present the Krishna conscious Gaudiya Vaishnava love of Godhead, he was faced with this tremendous challenge that in the West, the idea is that the person means a physical manifestation, a physical, the history. You are coming from a certain country, you have a certain religion, you have a certain gender, you have a certain mentality. The person means the body, practically. Consciousness is just some accidental, mistake, so to say, in the modern scientific point of view. It's just happened as randomly in the universe. It has no vitality, actually. It's just dependent on the brain. When the brain stops working at death, and consciousness is finished. But that idea leads to the person being simply a bag of flesh, which is totally incompatible with becoming Krishna conscious and to awakening an eternal relationship with Lord Krishna through the agency of the pure devotee, Guru, and through Radharani ultimately. So Prabhupada was going against the stream, to say the least, but he miraculously succeeded. Look, how many are we here today? This is 50 years later in a far-off place where Prabhupada never personally came, but still, he's here with us in the form of his books, his devotees. He taught us how to worship the deity. He gave us the Hare Krishna mantra. He gave us the inspiration to join together and listen. That's really where we begin our personality on the spiritual platform, because by listening, we actually allow our faith, the intelligence will function in such a way that we place our faith in a particular message. So that listening is the basis of our relationship with our connection with Guru, with Radharani, with Krishna, by opening our ears and accepting that sound vibration from them. So that is the person that Prabhupada wanted to present in the West, a gigantic challenge. But one thing I just wanted to mention was that yesterday one of the Matajis here, Sulochan Mataji, I don't know if she's here, but she asked me, what is this on your forehead? Why is it black tilak? Mm-hmm. And then she answered her own question. She immediately said, oh, Radhakund. And I said, yes. So fortunately, I've had the opportunity to take part in the Vraj Mandal Parikram during Kartik, where the devotees, especially led by Lokanath Swami's group, have a 1-month trek around the 12 forests of Vrindavan. And one time when we were going through Radhakund, there was a very, ordinary Damvasi Mataji there, just selling clumps of clay, this black clay, which is peculiar to Radhakund. And I bought some from her, and then I've gotten in the habit of wearing this Radhakund tilak. So, that's personality. One has individual choice. And I wanted to also mention one little story that I have in connection with Radha. I'm one of Prabhupada's last disciples. I never actually spoke with him. I saw him from a distance on several occasions. But my main connection with Prabhupada is through his books and through other senior God brothers who have had association with Prabhupada and are guiding mentors like that. But one time I had the opportunity in the very beginning of my Krishna conscious career. We had Gordon Thai deities there in the Stockholm temple where I joined the Krishna movement in the 70s. And when I was given initiation, I was given the opportunity to make the arati there. And I learned that first you offer the paraphernalia, starting with the incense and the lamp and the water, the cloth, and chamara, first to the guru, and then to Gordon Thai, like that. But then we went, in, I think it was 1978, to the Schloss Rennerschloss in Frankfurt, near Frankfurt, Germany. So there, they actually had Radha, Madha, Mohan deities, Radha Krishna deities. And I was newly initiated, and I asked the pujaris if I could actually have the opportunity to offer the arati there on the altar. And it was Yogindra Prabhu and I think Krishna Kshetra, and they welcomed me to come in and do that. So I went in to do that, and I started, of course, by offering the incense to Srila Prabhupada. But then when and then I offered again to Gordon Thai, just like we do in the Stockholm temple. But then I looked up, and there I saw, Radha, Madha, Mohan, Radha, and Krishna. And I was there. Well, where do you start? Do you go, is it Radha first or is it Krishna first? So I was like, I wasn't really prepared for that, So I just thought, Radha. Okay, so I went with Radha. But that was not correct. Radha won't accept anything that's not first offered to Krishna. So you first offer to Krishna, and then you offer to Radha. I didn't know, but school of hard knocks. So I offered the incense like that, first to Radha, then to Krishna. And then I went to put it down in the bowl of sand there on the altar. I put it down like that. But then above the bowl of sand there was a hanging, metal ghee lamp, right? And when I raised my head, bam, I hit my head on the ghee lamp. And then my hand went like this, instinctively. And it was in the ghee, so there I was, maybe I made a mistake. I should have maybe offered to Krishna first. So I thought, I'm supposed to be rabbinically clean here. Now this heel of my, what should I go out and wash my head? And I was like, what to do? So I thought, okay, I just carry on, with the lamp, and then the water, and so on and so forth till I finished. And then I went outside, and I was like completely embarrassed or, a little thunderstruck. I've done a great, seva opera, an offense in the worship of my first connection with the Radha Krishna deities. So I went out and I spoke with, I think it was Astarata or Krishna Kshetra. And they just laughed. And they said, oh no, ghee, that's pure, no problem, But they said, you should learn a lesson though, Radha doesn't accept anything. But then the other pujari said, but Radha will offer it to Krishna. So, don't worry, don't calm down, it's all right, just carry on, like that. So anyway, on this day of Radhastami, I was just remembering, Radha first, and then Krishna. Although you may get into a little trouble there. Well, Radha, she is, from one point of view, a simple cowherd girl, right? In the Vraj Leela. She wasn't a princess like Rukmini or Satyabhama, the daughter of a Kshatriya king, raised in a palace and everything. Cowherd girl. And probably we have in our, grandparents or their grandparents' parents, we certainly have cowherd girls in our family, I can imagine. I don't have to go far back. My mother was born on a farm, little farm in Ireland, before she migrated to the US there. Got married to my father, but, cowherd girls are simple girls. They're, close to the earth and close to the cows, which is something we've lost, unfortunately, in our modern, urban society. We have instead cats and dogs, but the cow connection is really missing. It's really something which is very, very healthy. And Prabhupada, he actually wanted us to institute that, if at all possible. Of course, he had many desires. He wanted us also to have temples in the city and to distribute his books, to have deity worship, so many things. But the connection with the earth, Mother Earth, and the cow, this is connected to Radharani, I would like to say today. And in this connection, I would like to point out one thing. How many of you here, please raise your hand, have you heard of the Finnish epic called Kalevala? Kalevala. How many have heard of Kalevala? Yeah. And because I was asked to teach the children of Indian families about Krishna religion in the Olu International School. And for that purpose, according to the curriculum, the students are encouraged to be integrated in Finnish culture at the same time to develop or to maintain is the word I'm looking for, an appreciation for their own tradition. So to make a connection there, I was studying the, how do you say it again? Kalevala. And there I was wondering, is there any connection whatsoever there with cow protection in there? So I was studying an English translator, or maybe it was a Swedish translation of it. And I found actually that there was a very, very beautiful song there. I forget the number exactly, I don't have it with me, but it was about the cows being out on the grazing in the forest during the day. And then when the evening came and it's starting to get dark, the cows need to be brought back to the barn for safety, during the night. And there were goddesses appearing, and they were singing charms about how to, help the cows to be, find their way back, before it becomes dark like that. So, yeah, the lesson I'm trying to bring up here is that we are in Finland, and we certainly can appreciate the culture and to become integrated in this situation where God has put us now and appreciate it. And but at the same time, we do not necessarily need to be assimilated. For example, we won't go to McDonald's or Burger King or other things which we know are opposed to the development of our Krishna consciousness. So that's a fine line to draw, but we should consider that the Daivi Prakriti is both in the material realm. Everything here is indirectly, it's connected with Krishna through Radharani, and we can understand through the guidance of our Guru how to use things in Krishna's service. That was a very important lesson which Prabhupada relayed from Lord Chaitanya and his disciples, the six Goswamis, about Yukta Vairagya. Vairagya means to reject the unwanted, anarthas. But yukta means to reject them in such a way that those things which have a connection with Krishna, although they may be material and they may have their inebrieties and shortcomings, but if they can be used in a proper way under the guidance of a spiritual master in the service of pleasing Krishna, then that to reject them is an incomplete rejection of renunciation, or maybe even false rejection. Anashrita karmapalam. No, it's anasaktasya vishayan yatarhan upayanjita nirbandha krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchate, without being attached to the things. See, we have an attachment in our materialistic mentality for our own sense pleasure, or maybe in a sophisticated way we're attached to beautiful poetry or lofty ideas of philosophical speculation like that. But if we can utilize things purely in the service of Krishna, according to the order of our spiritual master, who knows our nature and knows how to engage us according to our psychophysical nature, which is also a manifestation of God's arrangement for each of us, exactly who we are and what we are able and meant to do. That is nothing other than Krishna's internal arrangement that we should heed and take notice of and utilize without fear, although it may appear to be a regular old work like everybody else in the rat race of Maya. But if we're doing it for the purpose of purifying ourselves and pleasing Krishna, that is devotion service. That is very much wanted. So, we spoke about the spiritual energy and how we are on the margin between that and the material energy. And we spoke also about how Prabhupada kindly connected us to the idea of being a real person with individuality and free will, which we need to choose judiciously how we're going to invest our faith in which choice we're going to embrace. And we spoke also a little about the desire of Prabhupada that we would live simply and admire the simple life of being connected with the earth, growing our own food, and especially protecting the cows. It's like a dream in today's society where everybody is completely immersed in this, this matrix illusion that cows are simply objects which are meant to be utilized, and the milk industry is simply a collusion. It's just the same as the same cronies that are doing the slaughtering. One last thing is that when we buy products which are produced from the industrial slaughter industry, then that money that we purchase, that goes to pay the salary of a person who has the disastrously inhuman job of beginning the slaughtering process of one animal after the other the whole day long. And that person, he becomes degraded. There's no doubt about it. I've heard that the slaughter industries, they have to give the people, those guys who do that job, those who are up on the factory floor, they're producing food, it's maybe not so obvious that they become affected, but that person who has that job of doing the first step, they become crazy. They become their humanity. They can't remain a human being to do that work. So just think that if we pay money to buy a product, which is the result of that work, then we are being connected with that terrible degradation from human life to less. So therefore, in this world, there's so much violence now, but there's hope. Believe me, there is hope. It's the Sankirtan movement, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let us go on chanting. It'll change the world. Let us put our faith in it. It will change the world. Maybe it won't be obvious how it's going to politically or economically or sociologically do it, but we can rely on Krishna. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he has come in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to introduce the Sankirtan movement. So please, let us go on chanting. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. You mentioned that we should chant Hare Krishna. Is there some
He claims that I said we're going to chant Hare Krishna.
No, that we should chant.
That we should chant. He's claiming that I said we should chant. Okay.
But is there any mistakes one can commit while doing that, performing the process?
To stop chanting. That's the major mistake.
Other mistakes?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I just read actually, thank you for this question, Yogindra. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a very nice piece there. I can share it with you if somebody's interested. You can get my email connection from Janardan or from top of Divyam Prabhu. And it's there, it says chant anyway. And he goes through a whole big list, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the spiritual master of the spiritual master of the spiritual master of Prabhupada. He wrote, your mind is driving you right, left, and everywhere. Chant anyway. If you're falling asleep, chant anyway. You have so many businesses to take care of. Chant anyway. And he goes through a whole big list of just chant anyway. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you. Is that all right?
Yes. Understand.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, please. Who is that? Oh, it's our Mandira Marjana personified. Yes. How can I serve you, sir?
Maybe a comment to your key incident.
Key incident?
When the key dropped on your head.
Oh, ghee. I'm sorry. I'm old, my ears. Ghee. Okay, I got it now.
So
Yeah.
maybe it was a blessing. but because anything could have fallen in your head.
Well, by your vision, now so many years later, I take it as, it must have been a blessing because you're seeing it that way, You are Mandira Marjana personified, So, thank you. I will remember that when I fall asleep tonight, I hope.
We have 2 more minutes, so one more question, please.
Okay, yes. Who's first here?
About Radharani's appearance, but I heard some story was that he was found from the river. That Rishabhan Maharaj found her in the river, and some other story was that he was found from the field. So do you know anything about it? Which one is the correct?
Let me put that on my bucket list because I'm going to Varshan. No, actually she was born, not in Varshan, but she was born. Raval, yes, thank you very much. Yeah, towards the end of Rajamana Puriga, Raval, yeah. It's okay, let me put it, yeah, I have a very good memory, but it's very small and getting smaller. So I write it here, Radharani's appearance. But maybe somebody has some good information for this question.
I just heard from yesterday in class from one devotee that this is 2 times in different kalpas, I guess. So both of them are true.
Okay, 2 different kalpas, 2 different appearances. So both of them are correct. One last question.
Okay. In this verse, David Prakriti, is it?
Daivim Prakritim Ashritam, yes.
Yeah. Is it?
That's 7:13, yeah.
Yeah. Is it indicating the Radharani, or is it mentioning something else?
Thank you for that good question. But, on today's Radhastami, I think we would have the courage to assert that we believe that it refers to Radharani, as opposed to the next line, Mama Maya Dinatyaga. It's not the Durga, it's her external manifestation, but rather Mamevaya Prapadyane, if we surrender to Krishna, if we actually are devoted and obedient in Krishna conscious, simply, then that Daivi will be Radharani. Of course, it's also said that the spiritual master is a representative of Nityananda. There could be different interpretations there. But, as far as Radharani's appearance today here in your association, I assert that it's connected to that. Okay? Jai. Shri Jai. Prabhupada Ki Jai. Radhastami 2025 Ki Jai. ISKCON Helsinki Malmi Ki Jai.
His Grace Yogindra Prabhu ki. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Wonderful lecture. Thank you. A lot of information on the glory of Srimad Radharani. Thank you very much. Kiitos paljon.